What is your big concern?
Guys, my serious concern is that Baylor does not have a collegiate Division I WWE Super Slam wrestling team like every other major university.
You're nailing it, dude.
Macros can fix this. It's one of the biggest disgraces that my alma mater has no professional wrestlers. John Cena wrestled at Springfield University. Texas Wesleyan had The Undertaker. So where's the Baylor wrestler?
It's a great question, man.
Great question. It's appalling.
Hey, Laquan McGowan, I thought would have been a guy, but I don't know if he has the personality.
No, he is not nearly tough enough, and he's way too shy. I think he would have been, a nice little side attraction type of dude, but he's just too much of a teddy bear, I think, Laquan McGowan. But it was interesting when Jim Ross isn't with WWE anymore, but he did have interest at the time when JR was with WWE, and then now he's with AEW, and I got to say, Jim Ross is...
Brian, go ahead.
He's not in great shape. He's kind of at the end of his road. But, I'm with you, Brian. You nailed it in my opinion.
If you could take a former Baylor athlete, and we mentioned Laquan McGowan, that didn't work out, nor did it ever even kickstart. But if you could take a former Baylor athlete, no matter the sport, to be a part of that, who would you think would have been the most successful?
Rico Gathers.
Yeah, I could see Rico.
Is Brian still on? Or
I could see Rico, yeah. I mean, especially because he's got a big personality. He's got good size. He would make sense. I'm trying to think. There's not really anybody else that's coming to mind.
Doesn't have to be a football player.
No, I'm not thinking
that's why
of just
you mentioned
football. But there's not like a baseball player that pops into my head that I'm like, hey, he'd be great. I don't know. Sean Oakman obviously would have been somebody you could have expected to go down that route. He would definitely have needed to have done some more leg presses because he would have looked kind of weird in the tights with the upside down triangle shape that he was. But I'll tell you, this is total wrestling nerd thing for a moment. A university in Texas, which is not West Texas A&M anymore, is it? It's like Texas A&M Kingsville. Is that right?
No, West Texas A&M that's who it is.
It is still West Texas A&M?
I'm almost positive. Texas A&M Kingsville used to be Texas A&I.
Okay. Well, West Texas A&M actually had it's now known as West Texas A&M. It used to be West Texas State.
Right.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where Dwayne Thomas may have gone to college.
Yeah, it's out there in Canyon. So anyways, they actually back in the day had a really impressive run of pro wrestlers that came out of the football program there. And some of them played actually and some of them didn't. But you had the Funk Brothers. Yeah, Bruiser Brody was at West Texas. Stan Hansen, who actually lives in Waco, and man, I would love to talk to him at some point. Tito Santana, you may remember that name. There were Tully Blanchard, Dusty Rhodes. There was 15 guys who came through the football program or through that university that all ended up being stars. So that's kind of a cool history that they have there.
If you know how to get a hold of Stan Hansen, then let us know. We'll try to get him on. Dwayne Thomas did go to what is now West Texas State University.
The last time I heard anything about Stan Hansen, apparently he hangs out at the YMCA in Waco or something. That's what somebody told me one time, but I don't know. That was years ago.
Scotty said, how about Mark Vital?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Oh, yeah.
I think he'd be good.
Yeah.
DG's OG Classic Wrestlers. Yeah.
What's that?
DG on the chat for live.
The OG YouTube. Classic Wrestlers. Yeah, I just named a couple there. It was Dusty Rhodes, Tully Blanchard,
That's
Stan
one
Hansen.
school that produced all them?
Yeah, they produced all those guys. And I think, obviously a couple of them probably got into it and then it spread throughout the locker room or something like that. But yeah, they had 10, 15 guys that all ended up being big stars back from the 70s.
My brother, Philip, who I will see this weekend, went to Universal City Randolph like I did. And Craig, as knows this, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Went to school at Randolph. He was a Rohawk. I don't remember his real name.
Michael Hickenbottom.
But he was one of Philip's best friends.
That's his name, Michael Hickenbottom. Yeah. When my Uncle Philip first told me that, said, I knew Shawn Michaels in high school. I'm like, you're full of it. I was 8 years old. And he knew I was a big wrestling fan. He's like, I went to high school with him. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of a Baylor. He was very quiet, but he had there would have been a place for him. But Bo Blackshear had kind of that big wrestler body. There are strong silent types that they have.
Yeah, but you got to have a character, man. That's the thing, is you can be as big as you want to, but if you can't really wrestle or you don't have a character or you can't talk, then it's really all for naught. You're just size. And what I was saying is, so my Uncle Philip said, I knew Shawn Michaels in high school. That's not his real name, though, and I didn't know this was all, set up back in the day. I still thought it was real at one point. So I'm like, what do you mean it's a fake name? Like, what? It just blew my mind, dude. I think it kind of opened the door to me probably being interested in like the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, when I learned his name was Michael Hickenbottom. Like, Shawn Michaels is so cool. His last name is Hickenbottom, but hey, he made it work. He made it work eventually.
It blew my mind when I realized that actors and actresses did not use their real name. And even some that are in the profession of radio and television changed their name. When I first got into television in Lufkin, the news director, Bob Bashaw, asked me if I wanted to change my name. And I was like, that's the name my mom and dad gave me. And I thought the last name of Smoak was kind of unique. And I kept it.
Several times throughout my career, people have asked me if Catalina is my real last name. And I'm like, yeah.
I just think you use it so you could be a part of the mafia, Godfathers. You could always bring up the Italian thing.
Yeah.
Right?
But see, some people ask me that, like, oh, because of the salad dressing? I'm like, oh, kiss my butt. Come on. That's salad dressing.
That's not good.
I'm not going salad dressing.
Is that the one that's kind of like orangey color?
Yeah,
it's
like
weird. Thousand Island.
It's like weird. It's like a weird, tangy, like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting a bow on it, I think Sean Oakman would probably be my choice as far as the one that would make the most sense.
And then Vital would be in the discussion.
And Vital would be in the discussion.
Yeah, Laquan could have been, but yeah, you're right. He would have to take a beating at times, and even at 400 pounds.